Today's video is just going to be a craft along with me. I'm just going to be showing you how I made a baby lounger. They're also called baby nests. It's kind of like the Snuggle Me. It was my first time making these in a long time. I had made two previously, but it's been a few years. So I hope you guys enjoy this little craft with me. Take you along through all the steps. If you have not already, don't forget to subscribe. Join my YouTube family when I get to 20K subscribers. I will be doing a giveaway, so let's get there. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll have my social medias linked in the description down below. And let's just jump into this video. I started off by using my projector to cut out my pattern pieces. I laid down my magnets. I folded my fabric in half and cut it out using my rotary cutter. I cut my mane out of flannel and then my backing out of cotton, and then I used fusible foam as the mattress. I didn't have enough to make one whole piece, so I had to cut two and kind of place them together on the fabric. I lined one piece up with the bottom and used my iron to fuse it with no steam. And then I grabbed the other piece and I fused that on as well. In hindsight, I should have sewn the two pieces together to make one piece. That way there wouldn't be any gaps between the two pieces. Once I fused them together, I took my scissors and I kind of trimmed out any excess in the middle to kind of help with the bumps that were forming. And I used my iron to kind of even it out a bit. I decided I wanted some more cushion, so I decided to do 2 layers of batting, and I just traced my mattress using washable markers. I cut out 2 of those. I then used some heat and bond to adhere that to the fusible foam that I had already adhered to the fabric. I then just cut off any excess at the bottom of the lounger. I lined up my 2 fabric pieces, my mane, and I clipped it. I used these big clips from Dollar Tree where the mattress was because that was thicker and that they were going to break my regular sewing clips. Clipped all the way around. And then I sewed all the way around, starting at the curve all the way to the other curve. And I used a 3/8 seam allowance. And I made sure to backstitch at the beginning and end. And I used my metal seam guide to help me keep my seam allowance consistent. And I used blue thread for my top thread and then kind of like a gray thread to match the other fabric for my bobbin thread. And then I used pinking shears to kind of trim off the excess fabric, kind of help, and this will help with fraying as well as just help it sit better when I turn it around. I used a chopstick to kind of work around those curves and kind of poke them out a little bit without breaking through the fabric. I then flipped it over and I used my iron to kind of just iron it so that it could help it lay nicely for when I topped stitch. And then I went in and sewed at a 1-inch seam allowance from the corner, from the outer edge of the baby lounger. And this is just going to create the casing for the ribbon. I then took some tailor's chalk and traced out my mattress and sewed along this edge. And this is going to create a casing for where the polyfill is going to go. I then grabbed my polyfill, and in the little casing that I created, I started filling it, sticking it in little by little, and using my hand, really going in there and pushing it all the way to the top, and I did this for both sides. It took a while, but we got it done. And this takes a good amount of polyfill since it's so big. I just kept doing this until I got the desired fullness that I wanted. Then I just used a ladder stitch and closed it up in the bottom. And now it was time to add my ribbon. At first I did a bodkin and that didn't turn out so well, so I had to redo it, and I used a safety pin to kind of guide my ribbon through this casing. This takes a really long time. Once I had my ribbon all the way through, I just evened it out and cut out whatever length I wanted it to be, and I used a lighter to melt off the edges so that they would not fray. And I just tied a bow and the baby lounger was done.